As we've been hearing, Abe's speech stopped short of some terminology that many were hoping to hear. For more on that, I'm joined by CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg. Roee, the elusive sorry word was missing. Why is that?
Well, that's right. Many people were hoping to hear that word. In fact, a lot of groups had been encouraging Shinzo Abe to use that specific terminology in addressing the U.S. Congress, not just because of Japanese World War II, the attack on Pearl Harbor as well, but also because of the involvement and the casualties in Asian countries, specifically the issue of Comfort Women, one of the largest organizations in the U.S. Advocating on their behalf, said that they were hoping Shinzo Abe would take a very strong tone and admit Japanese guilt in what was basically forced sexual slavery during the 1930s and 1940s. Some 200,000 people said to have been involved in that as well. Also for Imperial Japan's role in China and the occupation of China, of mainland China in different areas, obviously Manchuria, Indochina as well. And for instances like the rape of Nanjing, so-called rape of Nanjing, which left, according to China, some 300,000 people dead. Various Japanese officials have used different terminology in the past, and many were expecting to see a hard tone coming from the Japanese leader because of the relationship between Japan and the U.S. and needing that important relationship.
So, of course, Abe focused on American victims of World War II. And so what about Asia? And some of that you already mentioned.
Well, indeed, and you would think because he's here in Washington, the focus would be on indeed extending that remorse, that repentance to the Americans who died. But it left, obviously, this important question of what was not mentioned. And sometimes what you don't say is just as important as what you do say. So many people closely watching that. I spoke with a communications professor here in Washington, D.C., who told me what Abe did is the equivalent of saying, "I'm sorry you feel bad," rather than "I'm sorry for what I've done." One of them is considered an actual valid apology, while the other one is considered quite patronizing, if you will, and not really taking ownership of the guilt. And what he said was that's what many people, and in fact the Chinese government, are waiting to see from Japan, an admission of guilt, an admission of their aggression. They're saying that past expressions from the Japanese have failed to take that ownership of what happened, and that's what they were hoping to see from Shinzo Abe during his visit to the U.S.
All right, Roee Ruttenberg, thank you.